So currently there's like no Masjid al-Aqsa.
Correct. There is no Masjid al-Aqsa. The traditional interpretation of this is that this is the night journey that Muhammad was taken on when he went up to the heavens and got the 5 daily prayers and stuff, right? If we're being critical, you don't get that from the verse. If the Quran makes a claim and it doesn't uphold to that claim, then it's a false claim, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Why do you personally believe Islam is true?
To be honest, because I haven't really seen any contradiction in the Quran.
Okay. So if I show you a contradiction in the Quran, that'll be enough for you to be like, dang, okay, Islam is not even.
Sure, go ahead.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to open up Al-Quran. We're going to go to chapter 35. So this is chapter 35, verse number 18. It says, and no bearer of burdens shall bear another's burden. And if one heavily laden calls another to bear his load, nothing of it will be lifted, even though he be near of kin. So even if it's a family member, you can warn only those who fear their Lord unseen and perform a salat. And he who purifies himself, then he purifies only for the benefit of his own self. And to Allah is the return. Pretty clear, right? No bearer burdens will bear the burdens of another. No one can take on the sin of another person.
Is this a hadith or an ayah? What is this?
This is a Quran verse, chapter 35 of the Quran, verse 18.
All right.
So it's pretty clear, right?
Mm-hmm. You did say it.
All right. So it emphasizes, but it's very clear, no bearer of burdens shall bear the burden of another. Even if it's a relative, a family member, close friend, nobody can bear the sins of another person. So now here's the other verse. This is chapter 16 of the Quran, chapter 16, verse 25. It says, they will bear their own burdens in full on the day of resurrection, and also of the burdens of those whom they misled without knowledge. Evil indeed is what they shall bear. So this verse says that they will bear their own burdens in full. Everything that they have done wrong, all the sins that they have committed, they're going to bear their own burdens in full to its completion. Okay. But also, they're also going to be bearing the burdens of others whom they've misled without knowledge. So people who they probably misled into sinning, they're going to bear that person's burden as well.
I have personally, to be honest, never heard of this verse, like taking the burden of another sin. Mm-hmm. I have never heard of this in Islam, to be honest. Never. So it's either that the context is the real problem here, or you just like misled Arabic with English.
No, brother, no. This is all. Do you read Arabic?
I do.
I wish I can, because I can put in the Arabic, but it's just too blurry. You wouldn't be able to see it. Yeah.
Even if you put it in Arabic, you can barely see.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. So it wouldn't even matter anyway. But look, I'll tell you what. Just take a little note of this. I don't know if you can write it down on your phone or just.
I'll remember.
You're okay, yeah. So chapter 35, verse 18, chapter 16, verse 25. These two verses are in direct contradiction to each other. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Research.
Want to see another one?
Sure.
So another contradiction will be chapter 12, verse 111. This is what it says. It says, indeed, in their stories, there is a lesson for men of understanding. It, meaning the Quran, it is not a forged statement, but a confirmation of Allah's existing books. Here it is. And so the Quran is a confirmation, and it is a detailed explanation of everything. And it's a guide and a mercy for the people who believe. Okay. So this verse says that the Quran, it gives a lot of different qualities of the Quran. It's a confirmation. It's not a fabrication. It's a guide, it's a mercy for people who believe, and it's a detailed explanation of everything. The part that I'm going to focus on is that it is a detailed explanation of everything. Now, I'm going to try to be reasonable. I'm not going to say that it has to explain how to tie your shoe or work a microwave, because that's not what the Quran talks about. So I'm going to be reasonable.
Yeah.
But everything that is within the Quran itself, everything that the Quran talks about, its topics, its themes, it is detailed and explains those things. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the Quran is a detailed explanation of everything. And then chapter 3, verse 7, this is where a contradiction takes place. It says, chapter 3, verse 7, it is he who has sent down to you the book. In it are verses that are entirely clear. They are the foundation of the book. And others not entirely clear. So as for those in whose hearts there is a deviation, they follow that which is not entirely clear thereof, seeking fitna and seeking for its hidden meanings, but none knows its hidden meanings except Allah. And those who are firmly grounded in knowledge say, we believe in it, the whole of it are from our Lord. And none receive admonition except men of understanding. So not even the scholars know the meaning of the unclear verses. They only just accept that they're all from Allah. Only Allah knows the meaning of the unclear verses. So
what kind of verse?
Just verses, I guess, that are unclear. See, here's the irony.
But there isn't any unclear verses. That's the thing. All verses like have an explanation. I never encountered a verse that the scholars just say, "Oh, we don't know." That's not true. Go into the mind.
You do. So, like, for example, you have let's see. For example, you've seen these verses where it starts off like this. See, let's go to chapter 11, verse 1. Yeah, here it is. Aleph Lam Ra, right? How it starts off like that. The scholars don't know what that. They say that these are like unexplained letters or something. Like they don't.
No, that's
what.
Sometimes it means, I don't know, but I heard it means that the start of the book, either that or it says Alif Lam Mim, maybe.
But there's different ones. There's Alif Lam Mim.
Yeah, exactly. I know, but they mark like the debut of a surah. They mark it. It doesn't have a clear meaning.
Exactly what you just said. It doesn't have a clear meaning. They don't exactly. Yeah. They don't know what it is. They don't know what it means.
Because even in Arabic, like the whole of Arabic, there isn't a meaning for like a 3 alphabet word.
Right.
It doesn't. All Quran is Arabic, so it has a meaning. A word that has to have a meaning. Like three alphabet. What is that?
Exactly. That's the question. Like it's a 3 alphabets. So what is that? Like why? Exactly. What is that? What is that in the Quran?
Something that doesn't even have a meaning in the very language.
So the Quran has verses that are like it even starts off with verses that are don't have a
meaning. Allah.
I'm telling you, bro. Like let's just check really quick what the top says. Let's see. You cool with Ibn Kathir? Yeah. So he doesn't even explain it. Aleph Lam Ra. A book. Oh, that's Kashani. My bad. Let's go to Ibn Kathir.
It doesn't have any meaning or something behind it.
Let's see, because he says he talks about it. I guess chapter 2. Let's go to chapter 2. Let's see if what he says here. Look, here's Jalalain says Aleph Lam Mim. God knows best what he means by these letters. So
it's just like. So they're not meant to like have a meaning or even something behind them. They're not meant to be. Even.
Some of them say like Allah knows best if they do, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So we're used to saying that like Allahu Alam, like on everything we don't know. Mm-hmm. Allah knows best.
Yeah.
It's not like saying, oh, we don't know. Yeah.
Let's see,
we don't have anything to say for this.
I got
it's you. Not like that.
Kashani says, Aleph Lam Mim, that book. These 3 letters constitute an allusion to the entirety of existence qua totality, because Aleph alludes to the existence of the one who is the first of existence, as has been mentioned. Lam alludes to the active intellect called Gabriel. What? Who is the middle of existence? Even
I never heard of this. Even I, what the hell is this? What What does this have to do with Gabriel?
Right.
Gabriel.
Yo, this is hilarious. What in the world? Where you get Gabriel out of this, man?
Exactly. That's what I'm asking. Where did they get Gabriel? How does La get Gabriel? What? Even that doesn't make sense in the very language.
Yeah, I don't. To be fair, I don't know who Kashani is. He could be a weird guy, so I don't even know. So, Kathir says the discussion of the individual letters. Let's see, the individual letters in the beginning of some surahs are among those things whose knowledge Allah has kept only for Himself. See, this was
again.
This
I have never heard of this.
Well, yeah, but see,
Weird.
so the scholars they're saying that there is meaning behind it, but that only Allah knows.
Yeah, but some scholars say that there is no meaning, so they are contradicting themselves. They are human beings too, you know.
I agree. So this is the point. Like that's how unclear it is, right? It's
yeah, exactly.
But here's the point: the Quran it says that it's detailed explanation of everything, while having unclear things in it, unclear verses in it, undetailed, unexplained things.
So you're saying a 3-alphabet word has to have a meaning.
At least explain why it's there. Like, what's the point of it?
Dude, so you're fixated on the one thing that actually, dude, come on.
All right, so
I am Arabic.
Let's do.
A 3-alphabet word doesn't make sense.
I agree.
Exactly, yeah.
So, brother, but you're agreeing with me. Like, look, a 3-alphabet letter, just it by itself, makes no sense. It doesn't have any meaning behind it, right? So it's unclear. Why the Quran has that in there in the first, it goes unexplained. That's why the scholars are saying it's unexplained why it's there. It's not clear.
Exactly.
But but here's the problem. The problem is that the Quran explains everything.
That's even the 3-alphabet word has to have a meaning.
Yes.
Or that's at least what you're saying.
At least have an explanation of why it's there.
It could mean like scholars gave an explanation, but they contradict themselves. Some say that no, there's no meaning. Some say no, it marks the debut of a surah. So we really don't know. Scholars themselves don't know. They just talk.
That's the point, exactly. Which is why the Quran says even those of knowledge don't know the meaning of the unclear verses.
Yeah. Okay. So since a 3-alphabet word doesn't have a meaning, the Quran itself is false. That's what you're saying.
The Quran fails its own criteria of being a detailed explanation of everything. It fails its own criteria.
Everything. That's what you meant. Like
that's what it says, brother. That's what it says. Look, I know it's kind of blurry, but that's what it says.
Yeah,
it says it's a detailed explanation of everything.
So even the 3-alphabet word has to have a meaning. That's what you're saying.
Yes, there has to be explained on why it's there.
So if it doesn't have a meaning, what does that make the Quran?
It means that the
Does
Quran
it make it false? Does it make it contradictory? What?
Yeah, it makes the Quran contradictory because it says that it explains everything. But then you have things in the Quran that are not explained, so that's contradictory. All right, can I show you another unclear verse?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. So this verse, we had a good time with the Alif Lam Mim and Alif Lam Ra stuff. Here's one that's a little bit more serious, I guess. Now remember, even without these,
the alphabet.
even without these, the Quran is still showing that it is it's contradictory when one verse says that the Quran is a detailed explanation of everything, but then chapter 3 verse 7 says that there's unclear verses. There's clear verses and then unclear verses. So not everything is clear and explained. While the Quran says in another place that everything is clear and explained. You get what I'm saying? So that's a contradiction in and of itself, but we're going a step further by giving examples of unclear verses. So let's just do that real quick. Here's chapter 17, verse 1, the night journey, the surah, the night journey. So it says, exalted is he who took his servant by night from al-Masjid al-Haram, from the sacred mosque, to Masjid al-Aqsa, the furthest mosque, whose surroundings we have blessed, to show him of our signs. Indeed, he is the hearing, the seeing. Okay, so if we're just taking the verse, or we could take the whole Quran. You can use the whole entire Quran, obviously. We can use context. You can use whatever you want. When it says, exalted is he who took his servant by night. Who is the servant that was taken?
I have no idea. How would I know?
Exactly. The Quran is unclear. It doesn't explain this.
Wait, what was the ayah before it? Like, what is even the surah?
This is
What is the surah?
this is chapter 17, verse 1. So it starts off like this.
It starts off like this.
Yeah.
Like the very first of the surah.
Yeah, the very first verse. The very first ayah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, brother.
Like the very first verse.
Yeah, brother. This is chapter 17, Surah Al-Isra, the night journey. Ayah 1, verse 1.
What is after? What is the ayah after this one?
All right, so the next verse says,
Go ahead.
and we gave Moses the scripture and made it a guidance for the children of Israel that you not take other than me as disposer of affairs.
So we don't know who the servant is. It doesn't have a name.
He doesn't have it. It doesn't name the servant.
Okay, sure. Tell me the problem here.
So the problem here is, again, that the Quran claims that it is a detailed explanation of everything. But we're able to continuously find verses in the Quran that are unexplained and not detailed.
Okay, Avery. So let me get this straight. So because a servant doesn't have a name, it contradicts the detailed verse of Quran.
Yes.
Dude, a name of a servant. You don't get the name of a servant.
Yeah,
and you say it contradicts.
Let's go further. We don't know.
Go ahead.
We don't know who the servant is.
Yeah, because it's a bit like overboard to like say, yeah.
No, it's
because
not.
we don't have the name of a servant.
Brother, no, it's not.
Listen.
I want you to understand my position. Because I know you're it seems like I'm being nitpicky, right? Like, oh, you're just nitpicking.
Yeah, like you're being overboard. Yeah.
Right. I understand. But look, the only reason why I am using this criteria is because the Quran itself claims this criteria. You understand what I'm saying? It claims to be a detailed explanation of everything. So if it is missing details, then therefore it's not a detailed explanation of everything, and therefore that's a contradiction. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's why I have this so-called nitpicky type of,
Oh yeah, because of the everything, the everything, right?
Yes. So watch this, because it's not just the absence of the identity of the servant, but look, it says, so exalted is he who took his servant by night from al Masjid al Haram, the sacred mosque, right? Is that what that means?
Yep.
To al Masjid al Aqsa, the furthest mosque. Where is the furthest mosque? What is this?
The furthest what? The furthest mosque, you mean?
Yeah, Al Masjid Al Aqsa. Where is that?
Well, I think it exists, but I don't really know the specific location, to be honest.
Well, so a lot of people, like we've been bashing scholars today, but the scholars they speculate that this is Jerusalem, and
right.
which at this time there was no masjid or temple or house. A religious house in Jerusalem. It was all torn down. It hasn't been rebuilt at all. So that would be historically wrong. But nonetheless, this is what they say, that they say that this is Jerusalem. But the Quran doesn't say that. They speculate this. The Quran doesn't say this at all. It just says the furthest mosque. So we don't know where this is if we're just using the Quran.
Right now, in modern times.
Not modern times and past times, future times. There's no time where we'll get this answer from the Quran, not from the Quran.
So currently, there's like no Masjid al-Aqsa.
No, correct. There is no Masjid al-Aqsa.
What do Muslims say about it?
Like I said, they said that this was this. So Muslims, the traditional interpretation of this is that this is the night journey that Muhammad was taken on when he went up to the heavens and got the 5 daily prayers and stuff. Are you familiar with that story?
Yep.
Yeah. So they say that this is what this verse is talking about. You find the story in the Hadith and all this kind of stuff. However, if we're being critical, and I'm saying, okay, I come here, you don't get that from the verse. or the Quran is like, there's nothing in the Quran that suggests like, oh yeah, this is Muhammad going on some night journey, going up to the heavens and getting, you know, the 5 daily prayers and meeting some of the prophets and stuff like that. You don't get none of that in the Quran. You get that stuff in the Hadith.
So when did Muslims get it? When did we get it?
They get it from the Hadith. It's in the Hadith.
Which Hadith? Which Hadith?
It's in Sahih Bukhari. So I forget the number. I forget the exact reference, but it's narrated in
sure
Bukhari.
It's in Sahih Bukhari.
Yes, I'm sure it's in there.
All right. So what? So since it's not mentioned in the Quran, you say it's false.
I'm not saying that the story, like, no. So my point here is that the Quran itself is false because this is an unexplained, undetailed verse. It's an example of that, of an undetailed, unexplained verse, while the Quran itself claims to be a detailed explanation of everything. We don't know who the servant is, and we don't know where he was taken.
Sure. So that's your only argument, that the Quran says that it's a detailed book, but it's not actually a detailed book.
Correct.
That makes it false.
Yes.
Avery, like, do you hear yourself? Like, what?
What? Is my reasoning is that, am I being unfair or faulty? Like, what's wrong with my reasoning?
No, not that. But is there other verses like these? Are there others?
There's a bunch.
There's a bunch.
Yeah, bro. There's a bunch of unexplained verses.
So since they are unexplained, that makes the whole Quran false because of one verse where it says it's a detailed, but then it doesn't detail on the verses.
Yes. Look, brother, if the Quran makes a claim and it doesn't uphold to that claim, then it's a false claim, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Right. So the verse, so the Quran makes a claim about itself that it's a detailed explanation of everything. That claim happens to be false because we go and read the Quran and there's a bunch of verses that are not detailed, they're not explained, they're unclear, they're ambiguous. So the Quran made a false claim about itself.
One very interesting fact of the matter is that Muslims claim the perfect preservation of the Quran with zero contradictions, a claim they have held onto for a long time. It gives me the impression that the average Muslim has little or no idea about the actual content of the Quran. From my perspective, the Quran is one of the most incoherent and inconsistent religious books in existence today. As God Logic argued, the Quran claims there is zero ambiguity in its message, yet it also states that there are verses whose meanings are known only to Allah. That is a contradiction that, in my view, Muslims have not been able to resolve. In fact, there are many verses in the Quran that require external attestation in order to make complete sense. Some passages are difficult to understand without referring to the Hadith. Interestingly, many conclusions and historical details found in the Hadith also draw from other sources, including the Bible. If the Quran claims to be a perfect explanation of everything, yet fails to fully explain itself, then one could conclude that the Quran is not reliable and, therefore, false. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Kindly like this video and subscribe to our channel to keep us moving. That's all for today, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.